Do you remember your last bow hunting stalk? The last time you crawled cat-like toward your prey, hoping you wouldn't get picked off? I bet you could tell me every minute detail about that moment in your life, every nuance about the wind, the animal's awareness, the terrain, and the shaking body you've suddenly found yourself in. Hi, I'm Steve Tadin, and this is Glory Hog II, Stickbows, Pigs, and the Stalk. Thanks for joining us. In the Coast Range of Northern California resides a man who lives for the rush of a good stalk. Bob Larson has guided in these mountains for over 20 years and understands the intricacies of pig behavior both as a bow hunter and as a naturalist. He manages arguably one of the most pristine pig hunting properties on the planet and lives there with his lovely wife Kathy and their two camo-clad kids, Luke and Lillian. Bob owns about as many weapons as a man can sanely justify, but for pigs, he chooses traditional gear. Recently, I asked him to explain.
Well, hunting is an ongoing learning experience, and the more primitive weapon you use, the more you tend to have to learn about the animal you're hunting. And so it's kind of a process. You may start with a rifle and end up with a stick, or you may end up with a wheel bow. But for me, getting close is what gets me excited, and to have that stick bow in my hand gives me the motivation to go places I normally wouldn't go. It gets me down the deep, dark canyon, or make me backpack for miles on end to get to some remote spot to go hunting. It brings back the excitement for me. That's why I hunt with a stick bow.
Also joining us is good friend and outdoor writer, South Cox. Many of you may know South from his blacktail and mule deer bow hunting exploits in the western high country. He has also chased pigs for most of his bow hunting life and lends his considerable expertise in that pursuit. South acquired stalker recurves in 2007 and now applies his 2 decades of woodworking skills to crafting beautiful, sweet-shooting bows that double as adrenaline lightning rods. I recently had the chance to sit down with South and asked him to lend his insight on the allure of the stick bow.
For me, traditional archery is the pinnacle of challenge for a hunter. It tests all of my skills as both a bow hunter and a woodsman. Getting in close to 20 yards or less of any big game animal is an adrenaline rush. I think pigs are the perfect quarry for the traditional bow hunter. When I'm looking for a challenge, I pick up my stick bow.
A bow hunting stalk is an adrenaline-laced, pulse-pounding trip that teaches us more about our ancient DNA than any textbook ever could. As we inch ever closer to our quarry, the breath quickens and the heart races wildly. The mind tries desperately to reason with the body for composure and control. The best bow hunters have learned to ride this heightened state and actually use it to tune their predatory senses of sight, sound, and smell. It's this very feeling, this trying to guide an out-of-control, runaway freight train that keeps us coming back to the well. It's what keeps our bows close at hand, and it's also what etches great hunting stories into our memories forever. Summer mornings do come early, but if you're lucky enough to be pig hunting, you may also be lucky enough to enjoy one of nature's finest displays. Dawn finds Bob Larson behind his binoculars, searching the landscape for hogs on the hoof. Dry summer conditions make bed hunting difficult at best. At this time of year, it's all about spot and stalk. Easing through the hills, Bob has spotted a pig catching a quick nap in the rattlesnake grass. The wind is good, but the dry grass stacks the odds in the pig's favor. At the moment, it's the best game in town, so Bob decides to give it a go. For the stick bow hunter, this is living in the moment. Nothing else matters but your next foot placement, the breeze in your face, and trying to calm a hammering heart. Watch Bob's arrow here.
That guy was sleeping up there in the grass, and I had a hard time respotting him. And I was in a low spot here, sneaking up, and I knew he was sleeping up on that bench. And finally, I could pick out hair, but I couldn't tell which way he was laying, or if his belly was toward me, or his back was to me. And I had an arrow knocked, and I was ready, and I was on and off my string a bunch of times, and I was trying to get a little bit closer just to kind of get an idea of how he was laying, and he finally picked me off and got up, and I went to draw, and my arrow falls on the ground, and he's looking right at me, and I'm looking at my arrow, and all of a sudden here he comes right at me, and I kind of wiggled a little bit, and he veered off, and while he was trying to get away, I picked up my arrow, and I got him just walking probably at about 12, 15 yards, and looks like a good hit. It was pretty exciting. I thought he was gonna try to knock me down or something. Let's take a look, see what we find.
This sequence, though graphic, clearly demonstrates the awesome penetrating power of a heavy traditional arrow.
Yeah, here's some blood right here. One thing about tall grass, it's nice. It just kind of picks up the blood way off the ground. It's easy to spot. I can see this blew through here. I know the pig went over that bench down there, but it's hard to pass up a good blood trail. Now this is the kind of blood trail I live for. This is very easy to follow. It can be so stressful following a difficult blood trail and working one out. When you get one like this, you really appreciate it. I can see where he whacked a tree here and knocked a big chunk of bark off of it. He can't be far from here. Oh. Yeah, he went from walking to rolling right about here. Check this out. Look at this. He hit this tree pretty hard. He's not doing any more walking. Looks like he's rolling. And here he is. He's laying right there. Good thing he got hung up on this log, or he would have been down at the bottom of this canyon. Wow. Look at the scars on him. He's old. This tooth's completely busted off at the gum line. And look, he's got the chunk of bark in his mouth that came off the tree. There it is. Whoa. He must have hit that head on. Wow. What a great hunt. This is an old boar. He's got some character to him. It was a fun stalk, and I thought it was all over when my arrow fell off the string, but I was able to salvage it. It's a miracle we got him, but it all turned out nice, and I'm happy. He's got some nice teeth and real long snout. Definitely has a little bit of European in him, I think. But this looks like an old pig. I'll bet he's well over the hill. This is good practice for deer hunting. And this is early summer, and the conditions are dry and noisy, and and these guys are challenging to stalk, especially when they're laying down like that, because they're not making any noise themselves. They can hear all the background noise, so you have to really move slowly and softly and quietly, and it's a real challenge. But I pretty much avoid bed hunting at all for pigs in the summer or even the spring, because when they're laying down, it is really tough to get into bow range, especially with a stick. I mean, you need to get 10, 15 yards to really place a good shot in one, and it's really tough when they're laying down. I got lucky to be able to get close enough to kill this guy, but it makes it real interesting, and it's a lot of fun, and it's good practice for deer hunting. Deer season's right around the corner, and maybe it'll help me out a little bit. It's a fun hunt.
This is when it really helps to know your property right here, know all the good bedding spots. This wind's really blowing right now, so these hogs are going to be, for the most part, sheltered up here. There are some that were feeding out there in that field, but Bob was saying that those are going to be the skinnier ones, the sows that need to regain some body fat there, and then the younger ones that are still growing. But these big boars are going to be bedded up with this wind, and we had a nice break in the weather. It just poured all night last night, got more than 6 inches of rain. So these hogs are going to be stoved up in here, and maybe we'll find some that are looking for a break in the weather.
A heavy storm has passed during the night, and while the low continues to blow through, South Cox searches the bowl for bedded hogs. Rain and wind provide a real advantage to the bow hunter. The elements muddy up a pig's senses, allowing the hunter to get stick bow close.
I was just gonna shoot on that step right there. He's like, 4 yards.
Bob knew of an old hollowed-out pepperwood tree that occasionally held pigs in wet weather, so we went to check it out. On this day, we were rewarded with a beautiful sight, standing room only at the hotel. South wastes no time in taking advantage of the cover provided by the elements and moves in for the shot. 5 yards, it's so easy to shoot at the entire animal. South pauses and intently focuses on a single spot.
Oh man, that was exciting. I think I was about 4 yards again from those pigs.
That's probably good.
Yeah, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5 yards.
They were a little vocal there.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, one's way back tucked up in there. Weather in the storm here. Big old rotted out pepperwood. Boy, I don't know, well, there's probably 7 or 8 of them in there or something. There was a lot of hogs in there.
Yeah, there's another tree right over here. Can we take a look?
Yeah, let's go check it out. We'll give this one some time right here. Here we go, Bob. Here's some blood. Right there. All right. Oh yeah, it's piled up. It's dead. All right.
Hey,
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we've seen just a ton of hogs out here in the last hour or so that we've been out, and I guess with all the rain that we've got like 6 inches of rain last night that caused those earthworms to come up to the surface there, and so they're eating pretty heavy on those too,
that'll
huh?
help them a lot. And they need it. They need all the protein they can get. There's not much in the grass.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little clover right now that's got a little protein, and they'll fill up on that. But if you were to take her apart, her belly'd be full of grass and a few worms. That's about it.
All right.
No nuts this year.
Yeah. Huh.
And last year they were in good shape, so they all bred up and they all raised babies. So they went into fall, kind of on the downhill side, and then we had no nuts, so they're working hard to survive.
Right.
But it makes it easier, makes it better bow hunting.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm figuring that we should see a lot of them out. We got kind of a break in the weather here, and they should probably start coming out of their beds, and hopefully this holds for the rest of the day. We could have a lot of action today. It's going to be pretty exciting.
I think so.
Yeah.
Winter in Northern California means rain, and if you like to hunt hogs in the rain, then you also like to bed hunt. Bob is climbing up to an old redwood grove that pigs use as a bedding area when the weather turns nasty. The hogs are bedded up, and the wind is perfect. There's also plenty of cover for Bob to make a final approach. All the pieces are in place. Now it's just a matter of a slow, quiet crawl for a 10-yard shot.
That looked like a good shot. There's a bunch more right there still. I think I had her about 10 yards.
At 10 yards, there's a lot of adrenaline control going on. Positive focus is the key.
Well, the shot was good, but the arrow exited a little high on the opposing side, so we're not getting any blood on the ground, but we got some good tracks going down this hillside. And the problem with hunting in the rain is after it rains, everything that's old looks fresh, and it's hard to tell the new tracks from the old tracks. And we're not getting any blood, so we really have to take our time and follow these tracks one at a time. And I'm confident we'll find this pig. The arrow looked good. It's just a lot of times you don't get blood on the ground and you got to follow tracks. So we'll follow these and see what we come up with. Looks like she came this way. There she is. I knew she wouldn't go far. Piled up in that ditch right there. All right. How long you get down there? All right. That's a big pig. Oh. Oh, that arrow exited perfect. Wow. Well, we recovered her probably a good 200 yards down the hill from where I shot her. And it looked like she just made a death march full blast straight down this hill. And I never saw a spot of blood. It was just tracks, but you could tell it was her because we followed it from the shot. And they were all facing straight downhill, peeling mud up in front of them. I was a little concerned because it's raining and no blood, but I knew the shot was good. And sure enough, we found her just directly down the hill from where I made the shot. Clean kill, one arrow kill, and it's a beautiful sow. She's going to be fantastic to eat. Probably goes, I'll bet 170 pounds at least. In prime shape, so I'm looking forward to enjoying her. Great old hog bed here. An antique fir tree. The old timers they call them grouse ladders because they're not like a single tree. So busted up into 3 big trees. No good probably for timber. That's why they never cut it years ago. With the good thing, the hogs love it. Look at this, they get the sap. They've been rubbing and getting all the sap in their hide. I don't know what they like about the sap, but they love it. And you can tell they sleep here as well. Anyhow, we're gonna see if we can't get some more pig footage here today. It's late winter, almost spring, but the pigs are still real nocturnal. They're sleeping most of the day and they're coming out last hour of light, and they're usually sleeping by morning. But once they switch over and start eating grass, they tend to stay out longer, which will happen in another month or so. But right now, we're going to probably find them in their beds. We'll see what happens.
Hunting with Bob, you can't help but learn about pigs and the environment they live in. For the bow hunter, understanding where they will be and when they will be there is the key to success. Pigs, like any big game animal, follow the food. Fall comes to Northern California. It's the time of the mast crop, and acorns are raining down from the oaks. Hogs eagerly await this bonanza, not only for the easy pickings, but for the protein and hard fat the nuts provide. In late winter and spring, with the appearance of grass and clover, pigs become grazers. Hogs now leave the security of the oaks and become much more visible in the meadows and open hillsides. All throughout the year, pigs work hard as rooters and opportunistic feeders. A hog will root for worms, grubs, bulbs, and insects while keeping a constant vigil for seed heads, snakes, frogs, and carrion. Once a food source has been located, check for the daily presence of pigs by looking for the signs. A wallow is a necessary part of a hog's existence. It not only allows cooling relief from sweltering heat, but provides the mud which kills parasites and their eggs. The wallow is a great ambush spot and worth checking several times a day. Also be on the lookout for fresh rubs, fresh beds, scat, and well-used trails. While searching for sign, Bob and South are constantly stump shooting. It helps keep the eyes sharp, the muscles limber, and is just plain fun. Shot placement, keep it low and keep it forward. It's almost impossible to shoot a pig too low. When to hunt? Mornings and evenings, of course, are best, but don't discount good moon time. It really does work. To locate pigs, Bob will often climb to a high vantage point just to glass and listen.
Here's some pigs. It's right over the hill. Come here. Make a little sneak.
Hogs are very vocal animals, and when boars and sows mix it up, the screaming resonates through the canyons. When you see hair, it's time for the stalk and the fun to begin. A pig's nose is legendary, and keeping the wind right is the law. Their hearing is also excellent and must be respected. A hog's eyesight is notoriously poor, and they don't trust their vision. But if you're skylined, they will pick you off. Now only one pig actually saw us, and he was able to convince some of his buddies of danger, but not all of them. Bob can see the main group is undisturbed, so he decides to drop down into the creek and continue the hunt there. When you're in tight at 15 yards, movement, noise, and the wind are all amplified. Instinct and focus become huge factors. Adrenaline is on one shoulder, urging you to hurry, while patience sits on the other, whispering to wait for the good shot. Bob has been there 100 times and is content to let the scene play out.
this off. I knew the game was almost over. I had a shot at a pretty nice boar right here. I think my shot was a tad high. We'll find out what happens. The manzanita time I had to shoot through right there. It was really close to it. I thought I could make it in. I don't think it deflected my arrow. We'll see. Another deflected arrow. That's my excuse. I thought I could pull it off, but no such luck. After reviewing the footage, my arrow didn't get very good penetration and got deflected by this little piece of manzanita and went higher than intended. And after a thorough search, I'm convinced that the pig is long gone and will live another day.
Finding the sign, locating the pigs, and getting the shot is what it's all about. Sometimes it comes together, and sometimes it doesn't. But one thing is certain, tomorrow's another day, and a new hunt.
So we just pulled up the road here. It's only a couple of days after Christmas. Getting a late Christmas present here. We just drove up, and there's a whole pack of hogs out here grunting and squealing and fighting. Less than 100 yards. We're gonna go get them.
Christmas is a great time to hunt hogs. The weather is cool, the stalking is quiet, and everyone is on vacation. Right out of the gate, South spotted this nice boar coming off the ridge. We weren't really sure what he was going to do, so we decided to sit tight and wait. After careful observation, South realized we had a few problems. First of all, there is absolutely no vegetation to use for cover. Once we step out of the brush, we are completely exposed. The wind is unstable at best, quartering to the pig from right to left. And lastly, the boar appears really skittish, like he knows something's up. The big guy eventually got our wind and blew out of there. Meanwhile, South continued still hunting down the ridge. Getting close to hogs is all about using the wind and the available cover to your best possible advantage.
came down. He was following the rest of the group of pigs down below us. And he was probably 12 yards maybe. He came down. I don't know if he spotted me silhouetted there on the road or if he hit my scent trail, but he stopped like he got hit by an electric fence and poof, gone. A couple more steps, he would have had the right angle on me. He was about to step off this bank here. But, well, we'll go see if we can make something happen with these guys.
Later that afternoon, we moved up to an old stand of firs and still hunted in the light rain. South heard some pigs squealing and fighting on a nearby knoll and had to hustle to get into position. Good cover can help you or completely ruin an opportunity. At 10 yards, South searches for a hole to shoot through. South draws just off camera.
Hit a branch.
I don't think we went 30 yards when we got into this next group. The pigs were milling around looking for a place to bed, while South was looking for a good shot angle. Bob is concealed off to our right, watching the scene unfold.
Side there, but I was afraid I was going to hit more than one pig if I shot it, and I wasn't quite comfortable with the angle. I got a shot at that one boar right before this sequence here, and I got deflected off a twig or something, and my shot went wild there. But almost came together. Let's go find some more. Got a pile of hogs bedded right over here, maybe 25 yards. Gonna loop around, see if we can come up along the broadside to them.
We went right back to the fir ridge we were on yesterday and got lucky. A nice pile of pigs was bedded up in the oak leaves, just waiting for us. There's nothing more exciting than being under 10 yards from your quarry and trying to hold it together for a shot.
Stacked like burritos, and I had to shoot far back, otherwise I was going to hit that smaller one right in the head. So I didn't have much. It was a really tight angle, but I think I got it in there pretty good. So I'm going to give it a few minutes and then check to see for good blood there. But man, there was a pile of hogs. I was about 7 yards from these pigs right here.
I'm surprised you could pull that off the way they were piled in.
I know. They were sacked out, man. There was one of them. Steve goes, there was one looking, one facing our direction. And I looked at him with binoculars and he was sacked out, man.
Not long ago, I got one like that. That was those small ones. And it fit right in this new smoker can I've got. And it was some of the best pig meat I've ever eaten.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right on. Well, this one's a nice fat sow.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked. Make some good pork chops.
Good stuff. What'd you shoot that with?
I shot that with my Stalker recurve, Beeman Classic, and a Woodsman Broadhead. So we'll go see how good of a job it did on it there.
It looked good, don't you think?
Yeah, it's all going to depend on that angle, because I caught it right back here, and it had a pretty steep angle in, so I'm just hoping it caught liver and hopefully into the lungs there.
Was it laying on its side more or more upright?
More on its side.
That's good.
It was kind of like almost at a 45-degree angle there.
So it's like a good quartering away.
Yeah, and it was real steep, so.
Yeah, the angle looked good to me from over there.
Yeah. But, well, let's go see.
We'll give this a few minutes. And
let's check to see if we got any blood right here in the immediate area that hit, and then we'll sit down for a while and eat some snacks.
Sounds good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, here we go. There's some blood. Pretty good spot of it, too. Kind of a high entrance wound there. so the pig's not bleeding a lot in this wet leaves. It's kind of hard to see the blood too, but we've got a good spot here.
Well, clearly my fears of a marginal hit initially were unjustified. This pig, boy, didn't even go 50 yards, and that arrow just made it right up there in the chest cavity. It's a beautiful fat sow right here. If you're looking for a pig for the freezer, one for the table, this is the size of pig you want to shoot. Nice, good fat sow. She's going to be some good eating. Nice pork chops and good stuff.
It's midwinter, evening hunt. I'm gonna try a self-bow, stage self-bow that Steve manufactured himself. My effective range is spitting distance. We'll see how we do.
I was like a proud papa when Bob decided to take the propeller out. After tillering, it ended up too light for me, but at Bob's long dry length, the weight was good. Bob is trying to relocate some hogs he spotted from up on the ridge. They were feeding somewhere just under these oaks, and he's got them. Stalking a group of pigs on an open hillside completely exposed isn't easy. When we began this stalk, I thought to myself, there's just no way. Next thing I know, Bob's inching in, getting closer and closer and closer. With good blood, fading light, and no pig, Bob decides to do the smart thing and come back in the morning.
Morning after the Osage stickbow hunt. Last night it got dark on us. We had good blood trail. We lost it got dark. Came back the next morning, about 150 yards below last blood. Got my first kill with a silk bow. Pretty excited about it. Brought this little dog Ted to help track it up. And this is Luke and Lillian, my son and daughter.
Hi. Hi.
Hog trackers.
There's nothing quite so majestic as a mature boar strutting through the oak woodlands. He's in his prime, fat and sleek, and demands respect from his rivals. A boar reaches maturity at 4 years, and from then on will only gain in muscle mass, thickness, tooth size, and confidence. Boars fight for two main reasons: territory and breeding rights. They are primarily nocturnal and can be very difficult to find unless an estrus sow is in the area. This old war horse is probably 6 to 7 years old and has the scars to prove it. He has 2 bad legs, broken teeth, and a torn ear, but his only concern is an estrus sow. An estrus sow will bring the boars out of the woodwork. You'll see pigs you never even knew were on the property. A sow will come into heat 1 to 3 times per year and immediately after she weans her piglets. A mature boar will foam at the mouth in response to the pheromones released by a sow in heat. The foam and the popping of the jaws also indicate his state of aggression and willingness to fight. Most boar fights are mock, shoving, and screaming matches, but if 2 evenly matched warriors come head to head, it will get serious. Stickbow range resides squarely in a boar's fight or flight zone. At 12 yards, it's a coin toss if he runs away or charges. Boars attack each other at the sides, so nature has seen fit to outfit them with thick cartilage-like shields that protect the vitals from heavy teeth. This shield can stop a broadhead or severely limit penetration, and it's not uncommon to find old broadheads and bullet slugs lodged in them. If you pursue big boars, the highest percentage shot is the quartering away angle. So what's all the fighting about? Yep, that sweet little thing with a polka dot coat. This 4-year-old boar is really feeling his oats and has been chasing her all over the dance hall. Now, even though she isn't ready to breed, it seems he's going to harass her until she is. In contrast, here's an older boar who just finished chasing off a rival. He's been around the block and knows his sow won't copulate until she's ready, so he's content to give her that time and protection. Under his watchful eye, she's free to relax, dig a bed, and take a nap. It's been a tough day chasing off younger boars, so he decides to do the same. There they go. He's probably still chasing her. It seems whenever Bob and I get together for a hunt, it's raining, and we try to wreck the camera. On this day, with over 8 inches of rain, we almost succeeded. The plan was to head up to the redwoods and check some dry beds, but along the way, we found this nice boar. Bob, not being one to look a gift horse in the mouth, decided to go for him. At 15 yards, the wind will only hold for so long. At this distance, Bob knows he must take the first good shot that presents itself or risk being busted.
Bounced off of him. Well, I don't know. I hit something pretty hard. Arrow literally bounced right off of him. There's no blood on it. The only thing I could think of is it was the point of the elbow.
With saturated feathers, the arrow never corrected from paradox and harmlessly slapped the boar on the ribs. He went one way and we went the other, on up to the ridge. In retrospect, I was never so happy to see a pig get away. When we got to the top, an old burned out redwood tree had a visitor, a bedded pig. What we didn't know is how we would react when Bob woke him up. Bob is running to keep a visual on the boar because the blood is being washed away by the second. Now that the boar is down, Bob waits and carefully watches him for signs of life. Many hunters have been torn up by pigs they thought were dead.
I'm pretty darn sure he's dead. I think he's dead. Boy, I thought he was gonna get me. Holy moly. That's a big boar. Oh man. That arrow ruined him. He really didn't go very far. He's got some teeth on him. Well, that was exciting. we've been hunting in the rain here, and it's been pouring non-stop. And when it rains like this, these big boars, they like a dry bed. So we're looking in all the hollow trees and caves and places where these big boys sleep, and got lucky and found this guy, and he had his head and shoulders were buried all the way up into a hollow redwood tree, and all that was sticking out was probably 2/3 of the back half. And I kind of had to visualize where the vitals were in there, and that was the easy part. After I got the shot off, this thing came out, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but it wasn't too happy with the shot placement. But all went well, and here we are. We made sure he was good and dead before we propped him up like this. Traditional equipment is exciting. This old boy's built like a brick house. His shield goes all the way back to his hip bones and comes all the way in front of his shoulders and down. You can get your fingers right around it and feel it. It's just a big old thick cartilage. People call it armor plate to protect his vitals. He's got some nice teeth, huh? And look at these ears, all torn up. This is definitely a breeder boar. Boy, oh boy. I'll bet he goes 200 pounds. Looks like he's got a lot of European in him too. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'd be happy too, Bob.
I'm happy I don't have any holes in me.
Traditional bow hunters often say hunting with the stick bow is more about the hunt than the kill. After filming Bob and South the last 4 seasons, I would have to agree with that. To me, the very definition of a traditional bow hunter is a man who lives for the stalk, a man who trusts his instincts and abilities completely, someone who deliberately limits himself to enhance the challenge and feel of the hunt. To be sure, traditional bow hunters want to be successful, and to say otherwise is untrue. We are all gauged on our ability to succeed, but how do you define success? What does it mean to you personally? I believe what success comes down to for most of us is far simpler than we might expect. For me, success is filming big game animals up close and unaware. It's about being in nature and releasing yourself to thought and wonder. It's dancing with a 3-inch boar and not having to go to the hospital. It's about respect and friendship. It's about making do when you forget your quiet boots. It's about a simple, effective bow that looks so good and shoots so sweet, you have to give it a name. It's about living in the moment and being completely aware. It's about so much, but in the end, success is a direct reflection of you and who you are, what drives you, and where your passions lie. If your idea of success is pursuing pigs with a stick and string, then we'll look forward to seeing you in the Oak Woodlands. For Bob Larson and South Cox, I'm Steve Tadin. Thanks so much for joining us.